Hey everyone, I'm Jade Ocean, and today we're going to be doing more of a yin, more of a restorative slow yoga flow. So it's a little bit different. It's not the traditional, vinyasa flow. Today we're going to be working on the hamstring. So the back of the thighs, the back of the legs, and then the lower back as well. So it's the posterior chain of the body, but mainly in the hamstring. So the hamstrings tend to get really tight. We sit in today's society, we sit a lot. We sit, at home, we sit in the car, although we used to a little bit more pre-COVID, but, we're used to doing this and sitting at our desk, not being as active and productive, and so our muscles in our legs end up shortening in the hamstring. And then, the surrounding tissues end up just kind of going dormant and don't work. So today I'm going to teach you guys just a little flow, just a little, it's like a warm-up, more of a stretching opening for the hamstrings. This is awesome. This is something that you should do probably daily if possible, at least a few times a week, just to be consistent with it. It's like working out. If you want to build something, you have to be consistent. So it's putting the effort. And, even if you take a few minutes a day, just doing something is better than nothing. Also to, the more that you do, the more that will happen. So stretching is one of those things where it can be a little bit boring for people because you're not moving around. It involves calming the mind a little bit more and just staying put. And, we like to stay busy. And when we stay busy, it's a little bit easier to do things. And so, sitting there and not moving and just waiting for something to happen can be a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to teach you, how to focus, draw your focus point on certain areas and certain things, and allow this time to be a time of maybe silence for the mind, and also just focusing and allowing your body to trust your mind to trust your body. So let's make sure that we have, for sure, you have a strap of some sort. So anything that's long, rope-like, you can even use a scarf, just something that you can use to stretch your legs out with. So legs length, and then, or double legs length, right? Because you want it to wrap all the way around. And then also to, for sure, definitely have 2 blocks or something, books, something that's stable and sturdy that you can use to keep your body upright, because we want to keep our spine pretty neutral today, okay? So when you're ready, I'm going to meet you on your mat or on the floor, wherever you are. We're going to lay back into our supine position, rolling back carefully, using your core to roll back, and then just find your alignment here. So take a moment to get settled, drawing the shoulder blades under the back, making sure the shoulders are drawn down, and then relaxing them. Right now, let's just go ahead and open the arms out alongside the body, or just let them come out a little bit so they're not crammed up against the body. Drawing the tailbone down, my knees are up. I'm going to go ahead and just extend my legs out in front of me. Pull the tailbone down once again. That's just going to help so that way we're not overarching in our lower back. And taking a deep breath here, let's just take a minute here to connect with our body. Maybe letting go of anything in the mind that's hindering right now. Just coming to our mat, focusing on just solely ourselves and our body, our vehicles, to allow peace of mind and allow our bodies just to grow and be able to produce our daily need of, moving and functioning through life. So just taking a moment to breathe. Deep inhale here, letting your feet just fall to the side, just stillness for a moment. So filling up through the belly, noticing the belly filling up and lifting, filling into the chest, letting it go, releasing, just connecting with the breath first. And when you inhale, think of lengthening up, creating space in the spine, in between all the vertebrae, expanding the chest, and then as you exhale, imagine your chest is sinking into you. Maybe firming the belly just a little bit, not intensely, but just activating it, so noticing it. And then allowing the body just to settle into the floor, so sinking. A feeling of weightlessness. Again, fully inhale, slowly, noticing it, all the energy drawing into certain areas of the body. And as you exhale, just slowly control. You can open mouth right now. Just one more time, deep inhale. And as you exhale, open mouth, exhale. Slowly control it, so nice and slow, paceful. This time let's draw the air in through our nose, and then we're going to breathe out through our nose, constricting the back of the throat with our ujjayi breath. If you feel any nasal issues or you feel congested, just skip this part, but this can be very cooling and provides a little bit of a soft sound. So sometimes what happens is you hear this noise and it just draws your attention to the noise, and it's helpful for when you have the busy mind going. And deep inhale, exhale through the nose. Letting the jaw soften, making sure we're not crunching the neck, so keeping the chin up to the ceiling sky wherever you are. Palms are open towards the sky or ceiling, and then relax, no forcing. You never want to force anything, so just keep this in mind as you practice today, as we stretch. It's good to push yourself, but you don't want to push beyond what your body wants to do. If you push too hard, your body will only push back. So as we go deep into stretches, the breath is going to relay to the body it's okay. If you notice that the body is just not ready for that position, it's maybe painful or uncomfortable beyond, staying in, back off a little bit. Don't force anything. Allow your body just to relax. And when your body is ready, it'll let you know. And if you breathe through it, you'll know. You'll pay attention. Your body will know too. And just keeping that mind-body connection. Just paying attention, being aware. Okay, so make sure that you have your strap close by. I'm just going to reach down and grab my strap. And then what I want you to do here is take a deep inhale, drawing your right knee up, so your foot's still on the floor. Retucking your tailbone. Inhale, let's draw the knee into the chest. We're not holding it, we're just actively using our leg just to pull the knee into the chest. So noticing how the right hip maybe just pull up a little bit, right? Because we're pulling the leg up. Obviously the hip wants to come up too. So now let's just draw that right hip down a little bit. So we're realigning the hips so we're not tilting the right side up higher towards the head. So then drawing that right hip down just a little bit. You may flex your foot at the ankle, flexing, pointing the toes up. And then when you're ready, grab your strap. And we're just going to place the strap over the ball of the foot. The ball of the foot is above the arch, a little bit above the arch. So retucking the back after you do this. And then inhale, extending the leg up. So we're going to extend our heel up towards the sky, ceiling, whatever, wherever you are. And then flexing the foot here, we're holding onto both sides of the strap. Redraw that right hip down towards the other heel, so towards the left heel. Keep that left leg just drawing in towards the floor, but not too intensely. So not too much energy, but don't let it lift up. Don't move it. Don't draw the knee up or anything like that. Just draw it in and then just let it stay there. So actively holding the heel down and then just let the leg just hang out there. One deep inhale here. And then another thing is that I don't want you to feel like you need to have the leg straight up overhead. Remember, we're not trying to force any of our muscles. We want to make sure we allow the muscle to feel safe. And when it feels safe, then we'll open up a bit more and then we can go into a little deeper stretch. So, your foot may be out towards the corner in front of you a little bit more, and that's okay. We're just all looking for that same feeling of maybe a little energy in the leg. So actively staying right here, keeping the left heel into the floor. The leg is a little bit softer. right leg up towards the sky, ceiling, or corner. Keeping the leg straight, but a little soft bend in the knee, so no hyper extending the knee. And keep breathing here. Let's draw the arms a little bit looser on the strap, so a little bit closer towards your body. The strap is still tight, but we're drawing our arms down just a little bit here, so our elbows are on the floor. Keeping the face soft, you'll notice certain other areas of the body stiffen up. Keep breathing, breathing into those areas of tension. Noticing those areas of tightness and just drawing energy into it. When we breathe, we're breathing in prana. We're drawing energy into our body, and we want that energy to go and nourish those areas of tightness. Just allow space to maybe open up a little bit more. Maybe just drawing attention to that area. If you're doing ujjayi, keep going with your ujjayi breath. Staying here. 3 more cycles of breath. Fully inhale into those areas. Exhale. Keep breathing. And then when you're ready on your next inhale, I want you to place both straps into your right hand. Extend your left hand off to the side, so you're making a T with your left hand. You're going to actively keep that left heel into the floor, and then we're going to just very slowly and carefully draw our right foot out to the right side. So we're opening up, and then keep pulling in, and we're keeping our elbow on the floor, and we keep pulling up with the foot, so with the arm towards us, so we're lifting the foot. My foot's hovering. If you feel good going towards a little bit closer to the floor, that's absolutely fine. Just looking for that feeling of a little subtle stretch here. In the hamstring, you'll notice a little stretch possibly maybe in the left hip flexor, maybe the hip as well. So keeping our left shoulder on the floor, breathe. When you're ready, inhale very slowly, very carefully, lifting the heel back up to straight. And then we're going to lift our left hand and then place the straps in our left hand this time. Extend your right arm out to the right side, making a T with your right arm. Deep inhale here, keeping that left leg actively, the heel pressing into the floor. And then let's begin to move very slowly our right leg crossing over the body. Just very slowly. When you feel a little tension, just stop there. And I always like to, anytime I move and come into a pose, it's always good to just do a checklist of, okay, I'm going to draw my tailbone down, pulling my hip down because my hip's getting a little tense, so it wants to ride up. So pulling my hip down again, retucking my, my shoulder blades, pulling my shoulders down, and then relaxing. You want to realign yourself and then settle, knowing what to stiffen and what to relax. Here we're in a stretching pose, so we're not really stiffening anything. We're using assistance, we're using the strap, we're using our other, our hand to help with the stretching of the hamstring and, all the surrounding areas. But, we're not really using any muscles here besides holding us down, a little bit of our core. We're using a little bit of our leg, our front quad to lift as well. But very little action here. Keep breathing. And then when you're ready, continue rolling over. So we're rolling our right leg to the left side, closer to the floor here, rolling into a twist. And then you can tighten up on the reins on the rope here, drawing your hand closer to the foot, keeping that left foot actively into the floor. I'm rolling onto the outside of my left foot now. Obviously my heel, my toes are not pointed up. They're pointed now towards the camera, towards the left side. My right shoulder is almost touching the floor. I'd say it's less than maybe a millimeter, so it's almost there. And keep breathing here. You may notice tightness on the side of the leg, of the right leg, keeping the toes flexed as much as possible. I like to draw my pinky toe in and push on my big toe on the stretching leg. Keep breathing. Remember, we're nourishing those areas of tension, using the breath as the messenger to tell the body it's okay, it's fine. There's no need to be tense. Allow yourself to relax, and when you relax, maybe there's room to maybe open just a little bit deeper. If this feels a little too intense, always have the option to loosen up, back off just a little bit, or you can tighten up a little more, just noticing how you feel, not forcing. Holding this for a few more breaths. On your next inhale, let's begin to, now we're going to use the muscles to begin to lift. Keep pulling the leg up, keep the leg straight. So we are using the muscles now to lift the leg up. And then go ahead and reach up with the right hand, grabbing the straps. And then when you're ready, let's bend that knee in to the chest, remove the strap down, release the leg down. Oh, that feels so good, so good. You may notice maybe some tingling, some cooling, maybe a little heat. We are all very different, unique, so we all feel different things. Just noticing how you feel. Maybe I'm rolling my toe around, so I'm loosening up my ankle a little bit. Okay, so now let's go to the opposite side. So we're going to draw just using our leg. Our hands are extended just out like we began with. I'm opening my palms towards the ceiling sky, and then lifting the knee, drawing the knee into the chest. Remember, we want to align ourselves, and usually one side's a little bit different than the other, so actively pulling that left hip down. Keep the tailbone drawing towards that right heel. Remember, we're pulling the heel into the floor and then just relaxing the leg a little bit, so it's just an activation. Don't let the leg fall. And just noticing the heel pressing into the floor just a little bit here. And just keeping the knee in towards the chest. We're just aligning ourselves, so we're noticing what our body looks like as we draw the leg up. And then just realigning there before we do any actual stretching. Keep breathing. Remember, lengthening as we inhale, re-lengthening, and then as we exhale, we want to just soften and absorb and settle and go a little deeper. And grab your strap. We're going to place the strap around the ball of your left foot this time. And then once we do that, again, we shifted just a little bit, so drawing that hip back down, so drawing the hip towards the heel of the right foot, and then we're going to begin to lift the heel of the left foot up, maybe just adjusting your strap, and then drawing the hands down just enough to get the elbows on the floor, so nice sturdy in the strap, straightening the left leg, but not allowing the knee just to collapse and buckle. So we want to keep the knee just a little bit soft, but allowing our leg to straighten. So I always like to say a soft knee. Keeping the upper body relaxed, keeping the left hip drawing down, keeping our hips nice and even. We want to focus on stretching the hamstring, stretching the leg here. And when we lift the hip up, we're just cheating just a little bit. So if pulling the hip down means lowering the leg a little little bit, that's okay. That's absolutely fine. We want to teach ourselves how to stretch in proper alignment. Proper alignment, posture is always above anything, always number one. So make sure your alignment's the very best you can get it, and then going into a stretch. Not compensating anything to allow a stretch, because you're really not stretching properly if you're doing that. Keep breathing here. Remember, if your leg is a little bit lower, that's absolutely fine. Just being aware, noticing the leg, the knee doesn't just collapse and hyperextend. We don't want to hang out in the knee. Keeping the jaw soft and subtle. And then when you're ready, go ahead and grab the straps to the left hand. I'm adjusting the straps. We're going to extend the right hand out to the side. Realigning that hip. That hip likes to just pull up. It's sneaky. And deep inhale here. And then exhale, begin to keeping the right heel into the floor. We're going to actively just pull our leg out to the left side, keeping the leg straight. Don't allow the knee to hyperextend. So we're just lifting. Maybe you're hovering, maybe you're floating. I like to wrap the strap around my hand too. So I do a little loop. Whatever feels good to you. Maybe it takes a little playing with the rope, playing with movement just a little bit. Just always remember that even when we move here into the side, that hip, still pulling it down. We want to keep our hip down. So we're here in external rotation. Our knee is facing up, our hip is out to the side, and our toe is pointed up towards our head. So this is external rotation, so you may notice a little more stretching in the inner thigh here. And keeping the hip drawing down. Keep thinking about the hip. If that means, remember, coming up off the stretch a little bit, perfectly fine. Alignment number one. And keep breathing. I know I'm talking, but you guys just keep breathing through this. Remember, the breath is the messenger, allowing us to open up. Your goal is to find ease. Stay here for a couple more breaths. You may adjust your arm too. If your arm gets a little bit tired, you can adjust your arm. Also too, I didn't have you guys do this today, but you're also welcome to, grab a bolster or something higher up. You can use your block as well. Here, I'll show you this just for a moment. So you guys stay where you are, but I am going to show you how to use a block. You can place a block where your foot's going to be, and then just allow your foot to rest on the block while you're still stretching it. And this just allows you to be elevated a little bit higher, so you're not actively holding it. So you can always do that as well. Keep my foot here just so you can see if you want to just maybe look over. So always keep your blocks close by when we're moving into these stretches, because you will definitely need them. And keep breathing, keeping the hip, even if you're up on a block here, keeping the hip drawing down. Don't let the hip cheat. And then when you're ready, inhale to lift very carefully, very slowly. Keep the knee nice and soft, lifting the leg up. And the heel comes up, and then we're going to shift the straps to our right hand. Inhale again, drawing the hip down. Again, you can use a block as you come over. Right now, we're just going to hover. Inhale, drawing. As we exhale, the right foot over to the right side. You'll notice tension. And this left foot as we draw it over to the right side here. And the leg, a little bit of energy building up in the leg, so I feel a little bit of tightness on that outer hip, my T-band area. I actually feel it myself. I feel it in my all the way down to my calf. So you'll notice a lot of tension starts from what's on the ground. So if you sit a lot, maybe your back is tight, right? It could start from down below, from the hips, the way the hips are, the way you're sitting. And when you're standing, if you're standing and your legs are tight, it just compensates the entire body. So, when I do this, I feel it all the way down to my foot. So we want to start with the very base, the very bottom first, and work our way up, because we can do anything. I could sit here and work on my hips all day, but if I'm tight in my feet even, or in my legs, my calves, my legs, my hips are always going to be, they're always going to revert back to that, you know, that funky position. So it's always good to start from the ground up. Keep breathing. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead and just allow the left leg to fall either to the ground or to a block. I'm going to place a block here this time, doing blocks this time. So keep pulling up. My left shoulder is still on the floor. My foot is either coming to the floor, or right now I'm allowing it to just fall into the block. And then my right foot that's been actively pressing the heel into the floor is now on the outer edge. It's rolled over. So my lower body is twisting towards my right side. My upper body is still upright and neutral. So I'm twisting from the spine. Be sure that your spine is not in a funky, you know, position. You're still, it's like you're wrapping around your spine. It may have moved, the lower half may have moved over just a little bit, so you can adjust yourself. Remember, alignment's key. Keep pulling that heel up, the left heel up towards you for a stretch, deep stretch in the left outer hip and outer leg. And keep breathing. On my left side's, it's so much tighter than my right side. You may notice that. Maybe it's the opposite for you, but this is just life. This is the way it goes. So it's nice to maybe sit a little bit longer if you can. Maybe not today, but if you do this on your own, always maybe spend a little bit more time on the side that's a little bit tighter, and that way then you can try to balance. And when you're ready, we're going to inhale very carefully, activating the leg, right? Keeping the quad activated to lift up, coming back to straight here, fixing your hips so they're in alignment, so we have a neutral back here. Grabbing the left hand now to the straps as well. We're going to bend the knee, release the strap, place the strap over to the side right now. We don't need it right this moment. And then just allowing the left leg to extend out. We're in our Shavasana once again. Just taking an inhale, noticing how now your left leg is feeling. Let's draw the knees up into the chest. And then if you like, you can keep your arms on the floor. You can wrap your hands around your knees and just rock side to side. A little bit of a bend feels very nice. Inhaling again into the belly, into the chest, expanding into the ribs. Affirming the belly on the exhale. And then rocking side to side. You can do as you please, what feels good to you. Let's release the feet back to the floor. This time we're going to lift our right knee up and grab our right knee underneath behind the hamstring. And just stay here for just a moment, pulling it into the chest. A deep inhale, letting the foot just relax. And then exhale. And when you're ready, let's grab, using your right hand, grabbing the outer edge of your right foot, and then just lifting your foot, keeping your knee bent. So my knee is going to pull in towards my, like under my arm, and then on the side of my chest. And then my foot is flexed and it's facing straight up. So my knee is outside, coming out. My foot is being pulled up. Just staying here for just a moment. Deep inhale. So I'm pulling my foot up towards my face a little bit just to stretch my hamstring just a little bit more in this bent knee position. This is a half happy baby. Keep breathing, keeping the right hip pulling down. Make sure your left hip is still on the floor, still touching the floor. And then when you're ready, release that right foot back down to the ground. Maybe moving the knees side to side here. Windshield wipers. When you're ready, let's come back to bringing the left knee now up. And then grabbing behind the hamstring on the left side this time, pulling the left hip down towards the right heel. Our right knee is pointed up. Just pulling the hip in. We're just allowing the hip flexor, the front here, to just relax in a fold, not stiffen up. So we're just training it before we go into this activation with the hamstring. And then when you're ready, grab with the left hand. You're going to grab the outer edge of the foot and then begin to bring your foot up towards the ceiling or the sky. The knees coming to the outside of the chest towards like the armpit area. And then we're just pulling the arm, the hands, the left hand towards us, pulling the foot towards us a little bit here. Trying to stay soft in the chest, spreading the collarbone, keeping the shoulders relaxed down. You can have your right hand just out to the side like the Shavasana we've been doing. My right knee is just pointed up still. I'm just actively pulling my foot towards me, opening the hamstring up a little bit. It's just hitting a different part of the hamstring. And keep breathing into the belly. One more breath. And then when you're ready, exhale, relax, release the feet down. Windshield wiper side to side again. Good. And then this time let's pull the tailbone. So I'm pulling my tailbone down towards my heels. My knees are pointed up. I'm going to take an inhale here. Exhale, bringing my knees up. Both feet are going to come straight up. Knees are coming to the outside. I'm coming into my full happy baby. My hands are touching or grabbing the outside of my foot, the bottom of my feet. And I'm just allowing my knees to come as close as possible to the outside of my chest. I'm relaxing my hip flexors, the front of the hips that are bending, the area that's bending right now. Pulling my feet towards my face, allowing my hamstrings to just open up a little bit deeper here, just in a different position. Allowing my back to be as neutral to the floor as possible. So we're not rounding our back like this. We're keeping our lower back as close to the floor, as close to straight as possible. Your hips maybe just come up a little bit. That's okay. Just keep breathing. Keep the belly nice and firm here. And then when you're ready, bring your feet together. We're just going to relax, extend it out. Firm the belly in, extending both feet out back to the floor. Releasing the hands up close to the, alongside the head, close to the head. Deep inhale here. And the exhale, bring the hands back out to the side and down. This time, let's bring the legs up. So draw the knees up, elevating the feet up off the floor, and then we're going to extend both feet up towards the sky, towards the ceiling. So legs are straight here. We're in a supta, or supta dandasana, with our feet, both feet up towards the ceiling sky. Activating, pulling our belly up and in, so our core is nice and strong here. Our front quads are working, they're holding up, right? We're not using any assistance here. Deep inhale. Exhale. And then let's inhale, let's extend both feet out towards the side, so we're making a V with our legs. And then coming back up. Again, making a V, using a little bit of core here, and then coming back up. Bend the knees, grab the outside. Either you can grab your, I'm going to grab my toes here, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to straighten, grabbing my toes with my 2-piece fingers here. And then I'm going to straighten my legs as much as possible. You can also grab the back of the calves if that feels okay, or the back of the hamstrings, keeping your feet flexed though. So whichever feels comfortable to you. And then what I'm going to do, you can also grab the toes and then bend the knees just a little bit. So deep inhale here, feet are together, and then opening the legs up back to our V. And then inhale, coming back to feet together, opening the legs up. So I'm actively pulling the feet up towards my head as I push my heels up towards the ceiling. So I'm trying to straighten the legs out here. And this is just stretching different areas of the hamstring. And then we're trying to keep our back nice and neutral. So keep your hips down towards the floor. Keep the shoulders down. Don't let them raise up. Keep breathing. A couple more times. Opening, closing, opening, closing. Exhale. One more time. Opening. This gets a little bit more of the inner thighs, the inner hamstrings. Exhale, release the feet, bend the knees, draw the knees into the chest, bring the hands around the knees. Deep inhale here. Exhale, extend the legs out once again. Heels can be on the floor, arms come up alongside the head, triceps raising, twisting towards the ceiling or sky. Deep inhale to lengthen up through the side body. Draw the shoulders down. And then bring the hands to heart center. Bring the knees up. We're going to do some rocks here to come forward. So place the elbows on the floor. I'm going to use my hands to help guide me here, and I'm just going to begin to rock my feet back and forth. I'm rolling onto my back, so keep your core nice and strong. Just little rocks, lifting your head up as you rock until you come all the way up. And what you can do is place your foot. I'll do that one more time. You can place one of the feet, cross the other leg under behind the foot that's on the floor, and then we're just going to come into our tabletop pose, Barshanasana. So tabletop pose, we want to be sure that our shoulders are over top of our wrists creases are in line with the front of the mat. I'm going to place my stuff over to the side here and just move it out of the way. Make sure the knees right now are underneath the hips, and just finding neutral spine here, so pressing into the floor evenly with the palms, maybe moving into just little baby rotations here just to open the hands up a little bit. We built up a little bit of energy into our hands as we held the strap, so we want to be sure we don't neglect our hands as well. We rely on our hands for a lot, always showing love to opening the hands up as well, and the forearms. I'm going to create a nice little yin flow for the arms and for the forearms and the hands and the palms as well. I think that's another area that's highly neglected and tense and tight. Switching the rotation, just moving around just a little bit here, just in the shoulders, just to warm the hands up a little bit. Keep breathing, keep the belly firm. The shoulders are not riding up to the head. We want to make sure we have space in the neck. The neck is neutral, so not allowing the neck to hang right now. We want to keep it neutral with the spine right now. And then come back to center and take an inhale and extend your right leg up, so lifting the knee up, and we're just going to extend the leg out straight to the side. So my heel is actually, my arch is in line with my left knee right now, and I'm just extended straight out to the side here. Deep inhale here, lifting the heart up, lifting the sacrum up, dropping the belly, a little bit of a cat or cow pose here. Inhale, spreading the shoulder blades, spreading the collarbone. Exhale, lifting the belly up, drawing the belly into the spine, lifting the spine straight up. We're rooting down into the hands, lifting through the arms, spreading the back. Inhale, coming back up, lifting the heart forward, lifting the sacrum up, spreading the sitting bones, our butt bones, dropping the belly. Nice full inhale. Exhale, pulling the belly up, pulling the tailbone down towards that left knee. Good. And then when you're ready, we're going to just do those sways again. So just moving, keeping our right leg nice and straight. We're just going to actively move in rotations here. So you'll notice your right leg is stretching a little bit. It's a little bit active here as well, but we are just moving into it. Just rotating, keeping that right leg straight, keeping the knee straight but not hyperextending. So allowing it to stay soft, but with a straight leg. We don't want to bend the knee to move into it. We want to stretch the leg. And keep breathing. I like to breathe. Inhale, one rotation. So I'm going nice and slow. And then exhale the next rotation. Keeping the arms nice and straight. We're just moving here. You can move the body side to side as well. And then when you're ready, come back to the top. We're going to switch the rotation. So as we switch the rotation, allowing that hamstring on the right foot just really to open up. I have my left toes curled under just to open my feet as well. Remember, we start from the feet. Keep breathing. Go ahead and bring that. We're going to bring our right leg back in. Deep inhale. Moving out just a little bit. And then this time, let's go ahead and extend our left leg out towards the left side, making sure that your knee is in line with your arch. Remember, shoulders over the wrists. Again, inhale here. We'll just come back to our cat-cows. So inhale, lifting the heart up, dropping the belly, sacrum comes up. Exhale, nice and firm belly up, spreading the back body, drawing the tailbone down. Inhale, lifting the heart, spreading the collarbone. Exhale, firm the navel, lifting the body up away from the floor. And then let's come back to neutral. We're going to come into our rotation. So I'm curling my right toes under, and then we're just going to come back to our rotations. Remember, keeping our left leg pretty straight. Knees a little bit soft. We're just going to move around in circles here. Keep breathing, moving with the breath. Allowing the foot to open, the right foot to open, allowing the left hamstring, the inner thigh to open. Using the core, using that right leg as well to rotate, using the hands to rotate. When you're ready, come back to neutral or the front, and then we're going to rotate, switch the rotation the other direction. Going sinking back, really opening that left leg up. Clearing the mind, noticing the thoughts that arise, and then just allowing them to pass. It's okay to notice things. We're human. It's just part of the way we work. We just want to make sure we also know how to just maybe let it pass. No control over anything right now, just breathing. And when you're ready, bring the knee back into our Barmanasana. We're going to step back into plank, so pressing into the floor, triceps are spinning back. Step right foot followed by left foot into our plank here. So my heels are nice and relaxed here. My tailbone's drawing down, my belly is nice and firm. I'm spreading the shoulder blades. Deep inhale here. Exhale, lifting the hips straight up and back, bending the knees. We're going to start off with bent knees, pressing evenly into the palms, making sure that you're pressing into the front of the palms as well, and the inner palms. Triceps actively pulling, they're pressing towards the floor, or rolling towards the floor. And pressing up, lifting the sacrum up, creating a nice straight line of energy through the body, through the wrist, all the way up through the sacrum and hips. And inhale. Exhale, softening the ribs down, firming the belly, using the belly to lift higher, maybe beginning to straightening the legs a little bit more, pressing the femurs, the leg bones back a little here. Deep inhale. And then I want you to bend your right knee and keep pressing into the floor. You're going to bend your right knee and then begin to draw your left shoulder
down towards the right opening. So we're just coming into a little bit of like a baby twist. Keep pressing the floor down, lifting the hips up. So we're stretching that left leg. Keep breathing. Deep inhale, full inhale. Exhale, soften the ribs down into the body, firming the belly. And then when you're ready, go ahead and come back to neutral, pedal the legs out again. And this time we're going to bend our left knee, keeping the right leg straight. Be sure that you still keep your knee lifted on the right leg, so keeping the quad active a little so that you don't just hyperextend. A deep inhale here, drawing the right shoulder towards the left opening, pressing the hips up and back. Just a little bit of a twist here. Keep pressing evenly into the palms, triceps rolling back. And when you're ready, release. Good. Let's open our feet wide like the mat. And then deep inhale, begin to bend the knees. Walk the hands straight up towards the feet. Begin to maybe straighten the knees out just a little bit more. So we're in a wide uttanasana here. We're going to grab our elbows and just let the back of the neck hang. Just hanging here for a moment. Spinning the inner thighs back a little bit. Lengthening the spine. Maybe pulling the sternum towards the floor. We want to try to get our chest as close as possible to the knees. Spinning the inner thighs back. Deep inhale. Lengthening. Lifting the toes up, allowing equal stance in the feet. So making sure that we're rooting, we're grounding down evenly in the feet. Maybe rocking our body side to side. Swaying side to side here. And exhale. And deep inhale, let's lift halfway up. So I like to place my hands. You can either have your blocks close by and lift up halfway onto the blocks, or I like to place my hands on my shin, just lifting, pulling the heart up forward and lengthening through the spine, and then keeping my belly nice and firm so I have the neutral spine. Drawing my shoulders down. Exhale, folding back down. Deep inhale, let's come all the way up, extending the arms out to the sides, straight up, palms are facing up towards the ceiling or the sky. Deep inhale, lengthening up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Maybe wiggling out a little bit. Let's walk to the front of our mats. Have our feet wide again. Maybe a little bit closer, maybe closer to hip distance this part. So take a deep inhale, extend your arms back up towards the ceiling. Bring your hands to heart center. We're going to begin to tip forward from the hips, so tipping the hips over top of the thigh here, coming all the way down back to our uttanasana. Taking an inhale, lifting halfway up, lifting the heart, drawing the shoulders down, and then exhale, coming back into our forward fold, our uttanasana. So here what I want you to do is bend your right knee, and then we're just going to sit the hips back just a little bit deeper, so lifting the toes up, making sure we're grounding evenly through the feet. So bending the right knee, sinking back, make sure that you're not hyperextending that left leg, keeping the front thigh, the front knee lifted. And we're going to sit the hips back a little bit and then draw them towards the bent knee side, so the right side. A deep inhale here. And then walk the hands around, using our core to twist just a little bit towards the side of your left foot. So my hips are pressing back and towards the right knee. And then my hands are off to the left side. My left leg is stretching here. Keep breathing. Using your core to twist. Exhale, go a little deeper into the twist. And we're not revolved, we're not turning upwards, we're just moving around the side of the leg here. When you're ready, come back to center. Lift halfway up, inhale, and exhale. Back down. We're now going to bend the left knee. We're going to straighten that right leg pretty well. Press the hips back and over to the left side. And walk the hands off to the right side of the right foot. And deep inhale here. Make sure you're pressing evenly with both feet. You may feel a little bit more tension in one foot. And keep breathing. Using your belly to turn just a little bit more towards that right side. And when you're ready, come back to center. Move side to side. And then inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands on the floor. We're going to step back only with our left foot, coming into a low lunge. So stepping back with the left foot, we're going to lower the knee down. Hands are right here on the ground by our foot. Make sure that your blocks, before you come up, your blocks are right next to you. So I'm going to place them right in the center of this opening here on either side. So one on in front of the knee, and then one off to the right side here. Make sure that it's not going to fall. So inhale, let's go ahead and plant the hands onto the block, and then we're going to come into our half split. So the hips are going to come back. We're going to actively straighten our right leg. It's fine if you want to keep the knee bent a little bit. We just want to make sure that our spine is neutral. So realign your blocks so that way then they're going to be right underneath the shoulders, right below you. If you can see, my blocks are right here. My hips are going to be right over top of that left knee. I'm uncurled in the back feet. You can curl them if that feels more comfortable. I'm actively pressing my heel into the floor. So my heel is pulling into the floor and then almost pulling back. My right hip, remember in the beginning, the hips want to move. So you want to pull that right hip back so you're in line, and then pull the sitting bones, the outer thighs here, all in towards each other. So it's a little bit of balancing here too as well. That's why it's also nice to have the blocks. But I have the blocks here because I do want you to maintain a neutral spine. I don't want you to be arching like this. We want to, remember, keep the alignment perfect as possible. So we're tipping over top. Anytime we're folding at the hips, we're tipping over top of our leg. And so we want to make sure that that right hip is tilting up and over top of the right leg as we pull the leg back, and then drawing everything into the center body so that way then we can lift up, create space in the spine still, find our balance, and then stretch our leg without compensating our spine. If you can get a little bit lower, that's perfectly fine. Wherever you feel it, we're just looking for that feeling of maybe tension in the leg and breathing into it. And then also to making sure your foot is flexing up. So keeping the foot flexed, again, if your knee is bent, that's perfectly fine. Drawing the pinky toe in towards you, pressing the bigger toe out just a little, just out a little bit, not too much. You don't want to torque the foot so it's in a weird position. You just want to actively pull the outer edge of the foot in towards you. Deep inhale here, creating space in the spine again, creating ease in the upper body. And then exhale, if you can walk your blocks forward just a little bit more, as long as you keep and maintain a nice neutral spine. Keeping the right hip pulling back and in towards the body, making sure you don't buckle on your left hip, keeping that left leg nice and strong. Inhale, lifting the heart. Exhale, maybe coming down just a little bit further. So find a comfortable position here. We're going to move our hips back and forth. So we're going to inhale to pull the hips to the right side. We're just twisting, so keeping the heel digging into the floor. We're going to inhale. I call it opening because we're just opening a little bit to the left side. And all I'm doing is rotating my hip to the right a little bit. So I'm just rocking here, the rocks. So open, inhale, exhale, realign. So I'm re-straightening out the hips. Open, inhale, exhale, close. Open, just dynamic movement here. Close, open, this is 4, close, open, close, 5, open, close, keep the knee a little bit soft, open, close. If you want to go a little bit deeper into this, if you notice that you're maybe opening up a little bit, you can always go deeper. Just remember to keep the spine nice and neutral. Close. As you close, draw the hip back. Open, close, 3 more times. Open, close, keep breathing. Open, inhale, close, there's 9, one more time. Open and close. Good. If you want to come a little bit deeper, you can. bring your left block closer to your leg. We're going to take a deep inhale here. Make sure you're nice and rooted with your left leg. And we're just going to begin to open the right hand just up towards the sky, just a little bit here, or maybe even out to the side. Pressing down with the left hand, drawing the right hip in towards the body, pulling that pinky toe in towards you. And just find ease here. Using your core, allowing softness, teaching your body it's okay. You're safe right here. 2 more breaths. Maybe a little bit more of a twist each breath. And then when you're ready, you can release the right hand back down. Let's walk our hands. So you can grab your block, your left block, and then just make it come over top of the leg onto the right side. So we're twisting kind of like we did in the Uttanasana. So we're just going to twist our body a little bit to the right here. So we're not twisting up or anything. We're just moving to the right side. Deep inhale, keeping the hip back, keeping the hip into the left hip, pulling the hips in towards each other. We're lifting up through the spine, tipping over top of that right side. Back off if you feel a little bit too much tension, or rebend into the knee a little bit more. And then when you're ready, bring that block over to the left side again. We're going to re-bend the right leg. You can move the blocks over just off to the side, not too far. Plant the hands into the floor. Curl the back toes under. Lift the back leg up. Lift the right foot to meet the left foot. I'm in plank here, and then I'm just going to move back up into my down dog. So my hips come up and back. Remember, triceps roll back, pressing evenly into the palms throughout the entire hand, making sure that my back is nice and straight, so I'm lifting my sacrum up. Pressing the floor away from me, maybe bending the knees a little bit. Let's lower the knees down. Let's just come into a balasana, a nice child's pose. So my knees are open, my toes are touching, my hands are just softening, relaxing, my forehead's on the floor. Inhale into the back of the heart, really drawing that prana into your body right now. Exhale, firming the belly back in. When you're ready, only when you're ready, we're just going to come back up. Curl the toes back under, coming back into our down dog. Deep inhale here. This is Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Nice resting pose. This is a wonderful pose that stretches the entire body, especially the hamstrings. But just be aware that you want to make sure you're pressing evenly in the hands to prevent any problems with your wrist. Make sure that your triceps are back, otherwise you can cause problems with your shoulders. Make sure that your hips are up, which means maybe bending the knees, so that way then you don't have problems with your spine. It works all the way up. Remember what's on the floor. What's on the floor here? My hands and my feet. So you gotta do 2 sides and work your way up to the hips. And then when you're ready, let's just draw the left knee into the chest. We're gonna shift forward and then just place the foot down on the floor on the left in between the hands. Lower the right knee down, uncurl the toes. Begin to slowly come up, but make sure your blocks are, again, we're doing the same thing. So we're going to do our Hanumanasana pose. On this side, our half split. So be sure that your blocks are on either side of the leg in the opening area. We're going to move them as we go. Inhale, begin to sit the hips back. You may need to adjust and pull your heel forward just a little bit. And then walk maybe your blocks back a little. So inhale here, let's align ourselves. So drawing the heel into the floor. Inhale, lengthening up through the spine, always creating length and finding neutral spine with each movement we make. Very important. And draw that left hip back, maybe moving your heel over a little bit if necessary. Drawing the left hip back. And then remember, pulling the outer hips into the body. You want to pull the outer hips into the body, creating that nice center of gravity, that nice lifting feeling. Deep inhale again, creating space, maybe bending the knee a little bit. Exhale, pulling the pinky toe in towards you. making sure your foot's nice and flexed up. Inhale, lifting the heart, drawing the shoulders down. Remember, we're tipping over top of our left thigh, so we want to tip, so pulling the hip back and in, back and in. Finding ease here. If necessary, you can stay up, but you can also, maybe go a little bit deeper into this pose. Keep breathing, allowing it to open, and tipping over the left thigh, and lifting up, actively pulling the heel down and dragging it back. And when you're ready, let's begin doing our little rock side to side. So we're going to open now, so we're pulling our hip just to the left side, opening to the right a little bit. We're not really moving anything besides just moving the hip to the left side. And then closing. That's 10. Close. Exhale. Inhale to open. 8. Open. Close. 7. Inhale. Exhale. 6. Open. Close. 5. Open. Close. 4. Opening the right hip. Closing it in. 3. Deep inhale. Exhale, keeping the shoulders down. 2. One more. Inhale. Exhale. 1. Okay, so bringing your right block close to the inside of your left leg. Remember, we're going to begin to, I'm going to come onto the side here. We're going to begin to twist. So pulling that left hip in, making sure that your right hip and your left hip are even. We're tipping over top of the left hip, so if needed, bend the knee. You're going to inhale and begin to reach the left arm out either to the side. You can begin to twist as long as your spine stays neutral. No rounding in the back. That's a lot going on in this left hip right here. So keeping it, drawing into the body, hip is pulling back. Keep the hip pulling back. Inhale, twisting from the core. Keep the core nice and strong. Keep the shoulders, keep space in the neck. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, softening the ribs down. Maybe sinking a little bit deeper into this maybe oh so tense stretch. Hanumanasana. And when you're ready, go ahead and release your hand. Left hand back down towards the block. We're going to take the right block, place it on the left side of your left leg, so on the outside. Inhale and just move the body towards the left side here. So again, pulling the left hip back, bending the knee if necessary. If you're like this, bent knee, right, and you're over here, that makes me happy. I don't care. It's not about what you look like. It's about the alignment. It's making sure that your body stays aligned. Inhale. Exhale, pulling the hip back again. One more inhale. Nice, full, deep, full inhale. Exhale. And begin to move your block over to the right side. Place your blocks over to the side. Rebend the left knee. Plant the hands onto the floor. We're going to curl the back toes underneath. Lift the back knee up off the floor. This time we're going to press into the front heel, so the left heel, and then bring that right foot to meet the left foot back into our forward fold. And then inhale halfway up. Good. Keep going, you guys. Stretching can be very intense and bring up a lot of emotions, a lot of feeling and energy in the body, and sometimes we don't know what to make of that energy. It's just really intense. Exhale, folding back down, maybe grabbing the backs of the ankles, bending the knees. Be sure the chest is touching the thighs. Inhale, extend the arms straight up, either in front of you, overhead, very slowly, pulling the tailbone down, rooting evenly into the feet. Allow that energy to just balance right now, going from
the floor to standing to forward folds and laying down. We're kind of doing everything right now. So, you know, the energy is just kind of bopping around all over the place. So just take your time, keep breathing, go nice and slow. And then draw your hands to heart center. Very good. Let's take a deep inhale here to extend the spine up, lengthening. And then we're going to step back with our left foot right into our Parsvottanasana. So kind of like our left foot is in line on the inside, of our right foot, but back. And then our hips, we would just want to make sure, you know, when we're in Parsva that our hips are even. But right now what I'm going to have you do is twist your foot, both your feet, so that way then your feet are parallel and you're facing the long edge of the mat. And then you can just heel toe your feet out. So we're in a wide forward stance here. And then you can grab your blocks here if you like. It's a really nice option. I'll show you with the blocks how to do this, guy. So blocks are going to be underneath the shoulder. So if you bend forward, they'll be about that stance right underneath the shoulders. So deep inhale here. We're in our wide stance. Wide stance. Be sure that the front quads are nice and firm, lifting up through the kneecaps, sealing the outer edge of the feet. If the feet are lifting up on the outer edge, just heel toe them in just a little bit more. Remember, we're lifting our front quads and our knees to keep our knees nice and soft, so that way then they're not hyperextending here. Drawing your tailbone down when we're standing up here. And then exhale, we're going to begin to tip forward over top of our legs and keeping the same stance. And then just coming down to a half lift. So release your hands down to the blocks, just the tops of the blocks. And just inhaling here, creating nice length in the spine, keeping the belly nice and firm. It feels like we're just sticking our bum out. We kind of are here, but we want to make sure that we're not just pushing back into the heels. We're not lifting any weight here, so no need to, there's no deadlifting going on. We don't need to push the hips back. We just need to keep the belly nice and firm. Keep the shoulders down. Deep inhale. Keep sealing the outer edge of the feet. Feet are parallel. Be sure that they haven't moved or adjusted. Inhale into the back of the heart. Keeping the spine. Don't let the head hang or drop. We're no quirking it. I know you need to see the camera. Just try to listen to me. See if you can maybe just peek up once in a while if needed, but just really listen and just feel your body. Exhale, folding forward just a little bit deeper. And stay on your blocks. We're just tipping a little bit more. Making sure that we're rooting evenly into the feet, so no just into the heels. We're pressing evenly, maybe rocking back and forth a little bit, keeping the core nice and firm. So I'm rocking forward and backwards. Inhale, exhale, pushing back. Inhale, make sure you have your blocks so you don't just, don't forward push and then go face plant. Be very careful. And then when you're ready, you can maybe move your blocks up just a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to rotate both of our toes towards, make sure you're rooting evenly into the heels now. And then we're going to lift the toes and then begin to walk our hands forward. We're going to rotate our toes towards the left side. And you can shorten your stance a little bit here. And then you're just going to keep moving the feet forward and then rotate the body all the way around to the left side of the leg. Your back heel can come up just a little bit here. So my right hip is pulling forward. Deep inhale here. My body is twisting using my core. I'm pulling my left hip back and then my right hip forward. A lot in the T-band right now. A lot in the calf. Soften the ribs. Make sure that you keep your core nice and firm here. Let's inhale. Let's rotate the feet back towards the front. Good. And then inhale, come back up. Maybe have your blocks, move your blocks over to the side, close to the front. And then we're just going to rotate back our right leg from the hip socket. So make sure you rotate the whole entire leg forward. We're going to lift the back heel up and maybe shorten the stance a little bit so the heel can come to the floor. Re-straighten the front leg. Adjust your hips. Remember, we want the left hip to pull forward, right hip to pull back. Create nice length in the spine and both sides of the torso. Keep the front thigh lifting, so active. Make sure that you're pressing, our leg is straight, so pressing with the big toe of the front foot. And deep inhale here. And if you need to, you can bend the knee and grab your blocks and place your blocks on either side of, actually I'm going to do both sides of my my front foot. My back foot, you can either have it maybe a little bit more wider than in line with the front inner foot, so, or maybe about hips distance, or you can go a little bit wider if balancing is maybe a little, you know, uneasy right now. So let's deep inhale here, creating nice length, pulling the tailbone down, activating the back leg away from the front. So we want to lift that back leg away from the front, but keeping those hips nice and neutral, nice and lined up, pulling the tailbone down. Keeping the front thigh nice and active. There's a lot going on here. And then exhale, begin to just bend the knee just ever so slightly. Keep the right hip pulling back. We're pulling the hips in towards each other. Just drawing and tipping, remember, over top of that front hip. Have your blocks maybe the tallest length possible. If you need to, always be sure to bend the front knee. I want you to pull that right hip back. Keep that left hip lifting and keep the right hip pulling back. Left hip is lifting towards you, so pulling towards you, towards the front. Deep inhale, remember, creating space in the spine here. Exhale, maybe going a little bit deeper, dipping a little bit more over top of that front thigh. Inhale. Exhale. Each time you inhale, create length. Exhale, even if it's just the thought of going deeper or just the thought of relaxation or safety or maybe straightening the spine, whatever it is, just each breath, focus on realigning, creating space and softening and sinking deeper. And then when you're ready, we're going to open and close, so doing the same thing with the hips. So open, I'm just moving my hips so my feet are glued to the floor. I'm opening my toes, pressing them down. My feet are nice and glued evenly into my feet. My right front toe is pushing just a little bit deeper, just to make sure it doesn't lift. I'm spinning my inner thigh back on the front leg. What I'm going to do is draw my hips to the right side, pull my left hip back, so I'm opening. I feel a little bit more tension in a different area on my front hamstring, and then close, draw that left hip back forward, right hip comes back in, so I'm in line. So open, that was 10, 9, close, open, 8, close, open for the inhale, exhale, close, open, close, 7, open, close, 6, open, close, 5, keep the knee nice and soft, close, 4, deep inhale, close, 3, keep the shoulders soft, 2, and open, close, 1. Now what we're going to do is come up, so keeping the front knee just a little bit soft as always, and then we're just going to lift up onto our back heel and then come back down. Let's do this for 10, 9, 8, 7, keeping the right hip back, 5, 4, 3, 2, I know, and 1. Perfect. Lower that left heel back down. Make sure to realign yourself once again. And then I'm just going to place my block on the left side here a little bit closer to my leg, on the inside of my right leg, and I'm just going to inhale and extend again. My right arm is going to come out to the right side. Inhale, exhale, begin to twist very carefully, pulling the hips in towards each other. There's a lot of balancing here. So right hips pulling back, pulling in towards the body. My spine is nice and straight. I want to keep a nice distance in my right torsos as far as my left side as well.
And I'm just lifting up. You'll notice a stretching on the left, maybe calf as well. So only go until you feel safe. Keep the core nice and strong. Keep the shoulder blades pressing into the chest, lifting the arm or reaching the arm away from the body. Keep breathing. 4 more breaths. Nice full inhale. Keep thinking about the hips. Keep drawing the hips in towards each other. Keep space equal in both sides of the torso. Keep the neck, the shoulders nice and long, allowing space in the neck. 1 more breath. Exhale, rebend the front knee just a little bit, release the hand back down, and we're going to take the blocks, move them both to the right side of the foot. Again, pull the right hip back, and then we're just going to twist just a little bit, turning towards the right side. Inhale, really pulling those legs in towards each other, drawing the hips towards each other, lifting up, and then lifting your shoulders away. So you want to draw your shoulders, your upper body away from your pelvis. And when you're ready, maybe move your blocks back to the front, either side of the right foot. We're going to rebend that right knee and then press into the heel. Bring your left foot back up. Fold forward. Exhale. Lift halfway up. Inhale. Exhale here. Inhale, extend the arms out to the side. Very nice. And then bring your hands to a heart center. Very good. And let's do the same thing with the opposite side. So we're going to, again, come back into our wide stance. So step back with the right foot this time. So same thing, about hips distance maybe. And then inhale, we're going to twist both of our feet forward towards the long edge of the mat. So remember, I'm just going to face backwards so you can see me, but grab your blocks too. Make sure your blocks are in front of you, under the shoulders, in front of you just a little bit. We're going to lift up with the toes, press evenly. Make sure you're pressing into the outer edge of the feet as well, lifting the front thighs so that way then we can open up the back of the legs up. We're going to inhale, draw the tailbone down to lengthen up through the spine, through the crown of the head, drawing the shoulders down. And then exhale, begin to press into the feet evenly to shift the body, tipping over top of your thighs. We're just coming to a halfway lift here. Deep inhale, release the hands onto the blocks that are under your shoulders. Adjust them if needed. And deep inhale here. Exhale, you may begin to rock back and forth. You can maybe move around, so move organically. You can move in little rotations here. Maybe bending the elbows back a little bit further. That way then you just come a little bit deeper into this movement. This is kind of like what we did with the tabletop in the beginning with the one leg out. Okay, maybe opening the stance a little bit more, making sure the outer edge of the feet is nice and firm into the floor. Keep rotating here. Switch the rotation around. So we're just moving actively in little circles here. Nice and slow, no stiffness. The only thing that's firm right now is my core and the front of my thighs. I'm thinking about creating space right now, that's all. And then when you're ready, we're going to take a deep inhale here. Maybe moving your blocks over to the side. We're going to begin to lift again. We're going to lift our feet up, point our toes towards the right side this time. We're going to rotate around towards the right leg. We're doing the same thing for our T-band. You can maybe shorten your stance just a little bit. Twist from the core, so deep inhale. Hold this for just a bit. And then when you're ready, go ahead and come when you're ready, go ahead and come back around, back to our wide stance forward fold, Prasarita, Padottanasana. Then we're going to deep inhale to lift up. Exhale, draw the tailbone back down.
Open the arms up towards the sky. Bring the hands to heart center. And then let's maybe heel toe just a little bit closer. And then let's go ahead from the hip socket, twisting our left leg towards the left side. And then go ahead and twist your right foot. So that way then we're coming back into our parshvo. Go ahead and shorten your stance a little bit. Grab your blocks. Place them on either side of your left foot. And then let's just recenter everything up. So pulling the right hip forward, left hip back. We're going to pull the tailbone down, actively extending that right leg back. So pushing the femur back, the leg bone back. We're going to press into the big toe of the front foot, lifting up through the sternum, through the heart, and then softening the ribs down, creating length in the spine. Once again, remember we're pulling the hips in towards each other. Parshvo is very balancing. Make sure your feet are, either hips distance, or they can also be a little bit further apart. Remember, both sides are different. Deep inhale here. Exhale, begin to tip the hips over top of that left thigh. So we're coming down, making sure that we keep that neutral spine. So if you need to, it's fine to bend the knee. A deep inhale here, keeping the left hip pulling back, keep space and equally in both sides of the torso. And then we're going to go ahead and come back into our rocks. So we're going to open towards the right side, moving the hips to the left. And then close. 10, open, inhale, close, 8, close, 7, open, close, 6, open, close, 5, open, close. Keep that left hip pulling back. 4, 3, open, close, 2, open, close, 1. Let's do one more. I may have been off count. Close. Okay, and then deep. And then we're going to, again, just moving from our crescent and then lowering the heel down back to parshvo. Keeping the knee straight, lifting the heel up, crescent. Exhale back down. Lifting forward, lowering back down, lifting up, lowering back down. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now let's bring that right block just a little bit closer to the right foot. And we're just going to take a deep inhale here. The right block a little bit closer to our foot. Realign your hips. Be very, very careful. Make sure that you pull that left hip back. Keep the legs straight. Really, really draw them in towards each other. Bend the knee if necessary, and then we're just going to reach the left arm straight out to the side like we're flying. If you feel ready, you can adjust your block if you need to. Make sure it's just underneath the shoulder. And then exhale, begin to twist, pulling the left hip back, actively pulling that left hip back, pressing with the front foot, the front big toe, keeping the legs strong in towards each other, lifting, twisting. And we're in our twisting pyramid, Parivarta Parshvottanasana. Finding ease here, keeping the left hip pulled back. 2 more breaths. And then when you're ready, go ahead and release your left hand back down to the block. And we're going to walk the blocks to the left side and begin to now just rotate to the left side. Our bodies to the left side, using your core. Trying to just twist or rotate from the hips, not really so we're not moving the upper body like this, we're rotating from the hips. So remember, making space, pulling the left hip back. I know I keep reiterating the same thing, but it's so important, and it's so easy for the body just to forget about it and cheat. So just little reminders. One more breath. Exhale,
place the blocks back on either side, coming back forward. Blocks off to the side. Bring our right leg to meet our left. Go ahead and fold back down, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift halfway up. Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, let's bend the knees and come back to the floor. Very good. So we're going to roll all the way back. Very good. Deep inhale here. My knees are just up towards the ceiling of the sky. I'm just going to draw my knees into my chest, back to Appanasana. Reaching maybe around the legs, rocking back and forth. Exhale. Reaching the legs straight up, maybe noticing how they feel compared to the very beginning of class. And grab your hands, reaching around the big toes here. And we're actively trying to keep our lower back into the floor. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, pulling the legs in towards the chest. We can roll the lower body up off the floor. We're going to keep our upper body pressing. Keep the belly nice and firm. We're just straightening the legs towards keeping the thighs on the chest, or on the lower belly. Deep inhale here. Finding ease. Releasing the lower back. Bending the knees if necessary. Supta Paschimottanasana. When you're ready, release the hands, release the feet, bend the knees, maybe open the knees up, or open the feet up so they're wide, and let the knees just collapse to the inside against each other. Deep inhale here. Exhale. Heel toe the feet back in together. Open the knees up towards the outer edges of the mat. So we're in a butterfly pose. Let the arms extend out to the sides. Open the palms up towards the ceiling or sky. Deep inhale here, tucking the shoulder blades. Letting everything just settle, feet are to touch. Full inhale. Open mouth, exhale. Noticing how you feel. Always noticing how you feel. Comparing maybe to how you felt in the very beginning. Drawing the energy back into those spaces. When you're ready, you can bring your knees back up. Let's extend our feet back out in front of us. Maybe grabbing a block. I'm going to grab my block here really quick. And then let's bring our knees back up. And then we're just going to place the block underneath our sacrum. Make sure you're on the flatter level. And retuck the back. Deep inhale. Maybe extending the legs up over top of, so they're straight, so you're over top of the block. Just now opening up our hip flexors, the front body a little bit. We've been doing a lot of folding and tipping. When you're ready, you can bring your knees back up if they're not still up. And lift the hips up, remove the block. Extend the legs now out in front of you without the block. So we're going to come into our Shavasana. Just take a moment to just thank yourself for just taking the time and setting your mind to it. It takes a lot of, effort, determination, and a lot of patience. And, you started with that and you ended with that. And I'm sure that when you can, you will devote more time to this. Once you notice how you feel and how it makes you feel a little bit better, maybe a little bit more mentally clear, maybe more open. I'm sure you will come back to that and maybe take more time to do this stretching and do this moment of stillness to open the body. Keep breathing deep. Inhale. Soften the jaw. Let the hands just fall. Let the eyes just relax. The eyebrows fall. Soften the little space in between where a third eye lies, in between our eyebrows. Let the jaw be heavy. And maybe noticing the heart. Maybe thinking of that little energy you just fulfilled today. Maybe your heart's just a little bit brighter. Maybe you feel a little bit softer, maybe a little bit heavier. When the time allows, maybe moving the fingers, the hands, the toes and the feet and the ankles, just drawing a little bit of awakening to the body movements so we don't overstretch it. And then let's just roll to one side, or you can hit pause and stay in Shavasana a little bit longer. Let's roll to one side. Let's plant our top hand into the floor and then just begin to lift the shoulder, letting the head come up last. Crawling our way back into a seated pose, maybe crossing the legs, bring your hands to heart center. And I just want to say thank you for allowing me to show you this lovely little yin flow of stretching and maybe teaching you a little bit of maybe a little more self-awareness for what to feel, or maybe just a little bit of knowledge of some stretches to do. I'm so honored that you tuned in with me today and tried. You did it. I'm so proud of you making this choice. Thank you once again. Namaste, and hopefully I'll see you next time with me.